Yo, what's good, everybody? This is C&J Sports Talk. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Cannon.
And welcome back to another hot episode that me and Cannon are going to be putting forth. And we're here to give you a new perspective on sports. We have a doozy that we just finished up last night. We had Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Baltimore Ravens. And it was a tough go-around. What are your thoughts on that one?
You know, what's funny is, I tried to catch as much as I could when we were doing our fall festival.
Yeah.
I didn't want to watch too much because I didn't want people thinking, oh, hey, Cannon's just, he's just watching football. But my thoughts are almost all the plays I watched were pretty boring.
Yeah.
It looked like a pretty boring game. And, I know Tampa Bay scored, however many points that they scored, but here's the problem. They did that against one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. And how many points did they score? 22?
Yeah, it's around there, 22, 23. Yeah.
So this doesn't show me that the Buccaneers' offense problems are fixed, even though Mike Evans went off for a big game. Because you only scored 22 against one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL. My opinion of Tampa Bay is still significantly the same.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. That left side, they're getting worked. Tom Brady's getting sacked. He's tap dancing in the pocket. Look, I'm still holding out hope for Tampa Bay. Because at the end of the day, I do believe in Tom Brady still, even though he's going through his situations outside of sports, outside of football, and even though they're going through this rough patch, losing 3 in a row now. I think him and Todd Bowles can pull something, to make a run, because at the end of the day, we've seen this plenty of times with not just with Tom Brady teams, but just teams in general, where they'll have this real rough patch, but then they get hot at the right time, they get healthy at the right time, and they're able to make some type of run.
Yeah.
And I think Tampa Bay is capable of doing it, even though they don't have the same players that they had a couple years ago. They're missing Gronk, they're missing Antonio Brown.
Their offensive line.
Yeah, their offensive line. They have some missing pieces, but they're going to have, hopefully, if their guys get healthy. I'm not sure how long some of the guys on their line are going to be out, but if they get those guys back, give it, hopefully they have 7-8 games left. When that time comes, I think they can make a run. But time is definitely running out on them.
Yeah. I'll say, you said they've been in the position. Brady's never been in this position before. Mm-hmm. I believe he's never been 2 games under 500 his entire career. Mm-hmm. So this is a new position for Brady. This is probably the most adversity he's going to experience, because this is his team. Mm-hmm. This team was built around him.
No, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying in this position, we've seen teams. I wasn't saying Tom Brady per se. Yeah. I don't. That's not what I meant.
So you're not talking about the Bucks and
Bucks
the Bucks
per se.
Okay.
In general, we've seen Giants have rough patches in there, and we've seen teams in general.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, they get hot. Yeah.
See, with the Bucks though, we have higher expectations because they are the Bucks.
Yeah.
Is being 2 under 500 is really, really catastrophic for the Bucks. While maybe for the Jaguars, it's not as bad because they haven't been good, and it's good to see progress. But this team was supposed to be the Super Bowl favorite coming out of the NFC. I mean, I can't think of another team that was supposed to be better than them coming out. I have very little hope for them because I don't think these issues are going to get fixed. And I'm not trying to blame it on Todd Bowles. I know Todd Bowles is a very good coach, but maybe the offensive philosophy that they're trying to run and, trying to do a lot of that defense-first stuff, maybe it just doesn't work for a gunslinger like Tom Brady. And maybe they should go back to the no risk it, no biscuit offense.
And when you say you have no hope, are you saying as far as Super Bowl or playoffs?
No, they can make playoffs.
Okay.
I mean, who's in their division? Yeah. Nobody. They're the best team in their division even when they suck.
Yeah.
I mean, Saints. I like the Saints.
Yeah.
I really do. They have good pieces. Mm-hmm. It's just missing Sean Payton sucks. I'm actually liking what I'm seeing with Carolina. In fact, I might play DJ Moore this week instead of one of my other running backs because I think it's going to be so focused on him. So Carolina, Saints, and then who's the last team in their division? Atlanta. I mean,
they're respectable.
See, Atlanta's like a baby Giants. They're like the baby Giants. They are playing the way they should play. They just don't have the Giants have more pieces in them, so the Giants can win that way more than the Falcons can.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith is doing a great job as the coach, and people are like, oh man, he's not doing well. Kyle Pitts isn't getting the ball. Mariota's throwing it 10 times a game. He's doing what they need to do to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's like, as a Pitts fantasy owner, I don't like it because I'm selfish.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this Falcons team has no business being, what, 4-3, 3-3?
Yeah, they're like 3-4.
Or 3-4?
Yeah, they're around there.
They're
respectable.
They should be one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. I think their talent on their roster is worse than the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the Texans roster more.
Mm-hmm.
It's, they're playing out of their mind right now for where they should be.
They're doing some good stuff for sure. And, just back to Tampa Bay, they just got to get to the playoffs. They get to the playoffs, it's always any given Sunday. I know I say that a lot.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, because twice it happened to us twice, us predicting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win, and we didn't even give it a second thought. Like, we said, when we did our predictions, we looked down, okay, Tampa Bay, they're going to beat Pittsburgh and call it a day. But then, look what happened.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's on a 3-game losing streak.
That one was more debatable for me than the Carolina one. The Carolina one shocked me. It's because Carolina's actively trying to tank.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they made the Bucs look, it's like maybe Carolina has a little something now that their head coach is out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, even DJ Moore is showing out again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had a really good game.
Mm-hmm. But 100%. Like, Carolina definitely shocked the whole NFL world. But as far as the Bucs, more than likely, if they get in there, if you win your division, you get a home game. So if they win a division, they can get a home game, and
probably against Dallas or the Giants.
Probably.
I would assume.
And I think even though they're playing really bad right now, it's not looking good. I do feel like they'll get some momentum into the playoffs, right? In order for them to get to the playoffs, they had to develop some type of momentum.
Yeah.
So carrying that with the experience of Tom Brady, I wouldn't say it's far-fetched for them to beat like a Dallas or New York Giants.
I can see it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think Giants and Dallas are better than them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely right now.
I mean, and Packers, no. How many wild card slots are there? Is it 3 now?
I think it's 3 now.
So who's that third team getting in? Because I'm pretty sure.
I think it's Seattle.
No, they're going to win the division.
Oh, yeah.
They could win the division.
They could win the division.
And then it could be the Niners.
So, that's trouble.
I'll say Niners or Seattle. If Seattle keeps doing what they're doing, more dangerous teams than the Bucs right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And if either... So the Bucs are going to be the 4th seed if they do make it because of how bad their record is.
Mm-hmm.
If the Falcons don't somehow win. So they would play the 7th seed, which is going to be either the Niners or the Seahawks, most likely. I feel like the Niners and the Seahawks are both better than the Bucs presently constructed. Yeah. The only reason I'm a little worried as a Dallas fan is because they already beat Dallas.
Yeah.
But that's when they were perceived as the better team. And, Dak goes out and they just didn't look good anyways. Yeah. So even if they do make the playoffs, it's like you can't discount Brady, but... they're not showing it to me.
Yeah, right now. It's really hard to to be confident.
If it wasn't Brady, we would just be writing this team off.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, kind of like where the Packers are, and I'm going to do a little bit of an audible now because I want to talk about some comments I heard Aaron Rodgers say on Pat McAfee's show. Rodgers is trying to. So I guess for context is last podcast we talked about Aaron Rodgers needs weapons. Aaron Rodgers needs this to be. Because he needs people around him to be successful. He needs to be able to build that trust. After kind of going back, because I was like, you know what? I need to go look into this a little more. I have an issue with how Aaron Rodgers is conducting himself right now. Yeah. He is trying to blame everybody but himself. He's trying to take zero accountability for the issues. And I just want to say one thing. How do you build trust with your players? OTAs. Throwing with them. Participating with them when you don't have to. Aaron Rodgers did not go to OTAs.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers did not start throwing with these guys until training camp. Granted, should they be further along? Maybe. But you can't talk about not trusting your guys and then not even trying to trust them.
Real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please don't forget what you were saying. For context, on the Pat McAfee show, what did he say? What exactly did he say? I remember hearing something about if you don't make plays, you don't play or something like that. What was it?
He said that 20% of the time somebody's messing up, and those players should not play. And he's taking zero accountability for him. He's saying, hey, the offensive coordinator says I'm doing great. That was my highest graded game. He's not taking any accountability for the mess-ups on this offense. Now, I know that you don't think it's like majorly his fault, but he's a part of it, right?
Yeah.
It's how could you not take blame?
He's the leader.
As the leader, how do you not take any blame for what your team's doing? You know, if this was the Cowboys, Dak's head would be on a stick right now if they had these expectations.
Yeah.
Like if Dak was like an Aaron Rodgers like talent, which I'm not saying he is. So let's get that out there. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers. What I'm saying is this would be a way bigger story if Dak didn't throw to his to his wide receivers during OTAs and he's trying to blame everybody but himself. I feel like Rodgers is just. I mean, here's how I heard it best. I can't take credit for this. Is like Mike Florio said, he's starting to make the people who support him not like him too.
Yeah.
It's like, because Aaron Rodgers really doesn't care if people don't like him, but he's always had supporters. But when you pull stuff like this, now some of your supporters are going to start being like, I'm not so sure about you. Because I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. But I just don't like how this man who is a over 15-year veteran is not taking any accountability for his team's shortcomings. That is ridiculous. And if you really wanted to earn trust with your wide receivers, you would have thrown with them over summer. Peyton Manning would drive his car to his teammates' places, and he would throw with them off the clock because Peyton Manning wants to develop that connection. I believe it was with Anthony Gonzalez and the rookie, and he when he was a rookie at that time. That was forever ago. But Peyton Manning would try his best to develop that connection. And Brady throws with his players outside of contract hours too. Dak does too. It's something, even though it's like something you're not required to do, it's like being a teacher. It's like you're going to have to do stuff off the clock.
Yeah.
If you want to be as successful as you can, you're going to. And if you notice, it's the teachers who get there right on time, leave on time, they seem to be the least prepared. Is it fair? No, but the NFL is a competition. You have to get the upper hand. And if you're not doing anything with your players during those times where you can, like OTAs, or even just, hey, come over to my house. Let's throw a couple balls. Let's get our timing right. I'm saying trust is a two-way street.
Yeah.
Two-way street. And if you do not, because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust these players, and he keeps saying it, are these players going to trust Aaron Rodgers? I mean, If Aaron Rodgers wants these players to get better, don't publicly shame them for their mistakes. Talk with them. And if you already talked with them, then that's on me because I don't know. But it's like, you got some talented players there. Try to build that trust instead of tearing them down. We got to build people up. If you want people to trust you and perform for you, you got to build them up.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. My thing is one of your last points is making it public. That's my issues because the facts are the facts. If your guys are messing up 20% of the time, they're messing up 20% of the times. You got to hold them accountable. Like we saw Tom Brady do that on the sideline with his players. Not this past week, but the week before. So you do have to hold them accountable. And yes, of course, you got to take accountability yourself. My biggest issue is him making it public. I don't know if it's his strategy to save face. Maybe that's probably what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't believe you should call out your
brothers.
I mean, I'm not going to go as far as you got to go to battle with these guys, right?
Your team.
And you do want to build trust with them. I don't think that's the best strategy in building their confidence. And they know because at the back, it's funny. I'm gonna use an analogy. When I was driving with my brother, right? Because my brother, he trains, like he's a truck driver and he trains drivers, right? And I know whenever you drive with him, he's always critiquing. He's always really watching you. He'll criticize, how you're driving or whatever. So, and that's in the back of my head. So if you got these players who know that you will call them out, and you're really, really extremely critical of them while they're playing, they're not 100% focused on what they need to do. They're thinking about what the hell you're going to say, what the repercussions are going to be if you don't get it done.
And they're nervous.
And they're nervous. So that's why, it's you got to, especially a lot of them being rookies, you do have to tread carefully.
You got to build them up.
You got to build them up. So I don't think, criticize them publicly is the best tactic. I mean, of course, you got to give them constructive criticism. And I mean, I understand he's on a time clock. He's not. He's getting older, and he's in a crucial time in his career as far as age. But at the end of the day, you got what you got, and you got to make them. You got to help them maximize their potential, and this seems like it's counterproductive. So, but yeah, I mean, that's not to say what he's saying is not true, because I believe Aaron Rodgers, what he's saying is true.
It could be true,
yeah,
but he could still be the wrong. It could be the wrong way he addressed it.
Yeah, I just don't think he's addressing it the right way.
And not to mention, he's throwing his coach under the bus too. Mm-hmm. Really, what's that going to do for your locker room?
Yeah,
Honestly, this sounds really radical. You'll probably disagree with me. If I was the Packers, I would try to cut ties. Let's start rebuilding. Because, honestly, I feel like Aaron Rodgers being a headache right now it's a headache. It's like, it's really tough. And it's like, you're not even winning games with him. It's like, look at what they got for Russell Wilson. I don't think they get that for Aaron Rodgers because Russell Wilson's younger. But just get something for Rodgers, send him someplace that he wants to be, get something for him, and try to build for the future, because I think their Super Bowl window is closed. I don't think they can win another one presently constructed, unless if they pull something massive off, like Chase Claypool. Somebody.
Yeah, they need somebody.
That's really the only way I see it. And even then, their defense is not as good as they should be. Their running game isn't as good as they should be because of the way the offense is ran. It's like there's so many flaws with this team, even with that Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
It'd take a miracle for them to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah. And, to second that, presently constructed, it's really disappointing, because at the end of the day, you got Aaron Rodgers, who's at the tail end of his career, and it's at that critical moment where he needs the guys around him to be, as good as possible. Like, he needs more B+ players on the outside, and he has C- players. I mean, especially when they're that older, like Aaron Rodgers, you need guys who can, who has the ability to, help you get to the Super Bowl, and he just doesn't have that around him, because it's not like when he was young and he can make, so players great. It's just not the case right now anymore. So
I guess here's my question. If he would have trained with these guys, do you think they could have turned into those B-, B+ receivers? Like if he got the timing down, if they got all those trust issues out of the way,
I mean, it will help. It's a possibility. I'm not going to say no to that.
Because I think Christian Watson is a B+, A- talent. And Romeo Doubs is showing he's at least a B- talent.
But I mean, to me personally, timing and all that stuff has nothing to do with some of the drops they've done. Like that they've had. Like that first play from scrimmage from the year, that has nothing to do with OTAs. That has nothing to do with OTAs. You got to catch the ball, man. That 75-yarder against Minnesota where he dropped.
I just think if a lot of that can be mitigated with more practice with Rodgers. I understand drops are a mental issue, but also think about these dudes. Like if Aaron Rodgers is criticizing them all the time, they're going to be nervous when he throws them the ball because they're, oh crap, there's my 20% I messed up. It's like I just what Rodgers is doing is 100% counterproductive. Players who mess up that much shouldn't be on the field. Well, then your whole wide receiving core should be benched because all of them are making mistakes. You should be benched because you're making mental mistakes too. It's like you can't call out people that not expect.
You think it's probably a call out to management to do something? at the trade deadline? That could be a tactic.
I think it was more like call out for the coach because he's pretty much saying, "Coach, bench these, bench these fools."
And I didn't hear the whole thing, so
yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, I was listening to it on one of those talk shows, and I was just like, "Man, Rodgers, you're like." I always think, like, hey, you're misunderstood. It's like Rodgers is... I always thought that people overhated him, but this is one time where I'm like, okay, I see why people don't like him.
Yeah.
And it's not even because he tells it how it is. It's because he tries to tell it how it is without holding anything accountable. So with that, I think we should go to our predictions for next week.
Yeah, let's see who
if you want to go ahead and pull that up, and then we'll discuss.
We are on NFL week.
Yeah, we are on week 8, and we got some games that I felt like were easier to manage. Like last week and the week before, I was like, oh my goodness, there's some tough ones.
We got Bears Cowboys.
So yeah, we could talk about Bears Cowboys. I talked to my mom about it. My mom's like, "Who, we're playing the Bears good?" And I was like, "No, I don't know." I was like, the Bears are starting to find their way.
Yeah.
Like, Justin Fields, I just picked him up in fantasy because they finally figured out, hey, we should probably run with that guy. He's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's thrown for over 170 yards in, like, the last 3 games when he didn't do it, like, at all in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fields is finally figuring out who he is. And if I remember anything about that Giants game, is really the only way Giants got momentum was when Daniel Jones ran.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Fields, no offense to Daniel Jones, Justin Fields is like an athlete. He's like a massive athlete, like generational at running the football. He's fast and he's big. So that's their advantage there. And I believe they could give Dallas a run for their money. But I'm going to pick Dallas because Dallas is the better team.
Yeah, this is a tough one. The Bears, they're coming off a 2-game win streak, correct? They beat Washington, and then...
No, they lost to Washington.
Oh, you're right. They did lose.
Washington.
I'm sorry. They lost to Washington, and then they beat... who they beat?
Patriots.
They beat on Monday night. They beat the Patriots, which came to my surprise.
I can't put a lot of stock in that, though, because Bill Belichick, for some reason, played Mac Jones for, like, 1 series, and then...
But they dominated him. Even, like, in New England, they got a really good defense, and, they dominated them. So, the Bears, they're a tough out. They're definitely a tough out, but overall, I think Dallas is better. They have, a dominating defense.
Which... can definitely hold Fields.
Yeah,
maybe not the running, but I don't think they're going to get too much from the passing department.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping Micah can get credit for some sacks, though, because the man's been messing the play up the entire season. And, the last game was a perfect example of that. Is he had 0 sacks, but he's the reason that defense was so dominant. He was in the area all the time when there were rush throws or when other people got sacks.
And here's the thing. I remember we was talking about the almost touchdown for Detroit Lions. And the reason why that situation even came about was because Micah Parsons was trailing the play. And, he saved that touchdown. So there wouldn't have been a Jamal Williams fumble in the goal line if it wasn't for Micah Parsons. So, no, I definitely...
The best defensive player in football.
No, I think there's a case where you could argue him being the best player in the football, personally.
It's crazy that this man is so good in his second year.
Yeah, because Dallas, you can argue that for Micah Parsons because Dallas, what are they right now? 5-2?
5-2.
They'd probably be 2-5 if it wasn't for Micah Parsons.
Well, hey, what about Cooper Clutch? I'm just kidding.
No, they would. So it's like I think you can make the case that he's the best player in the game.
Yeah.
Saying
that though is I want to give Trayvon love too. Diggs is oh my gosh, he improves so much and there's so many plays he makes tackling.
Yeah.
He stops
Yeah.
Dude is he leveled up. Maybe less interceptions, but dude's leveled up. He doesn't really give up too many big plays anymore.
And he's probably not gambling. I haven't really analyzed him as much. He's probably not gambling as much.
He's making smarter gambles.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's good. No, I like Trayvon. Trayvon is a wide receiver and a cornerback.
Yeah.
As a cornerback, he is a wide receiver, and those two are making that team go, and they're making other people look better. DeMarcus Lawrence looks relevant, and then this third-round pick Dallas had, I forget his name, but he's doing really good. Like, the line is doing really good. There's a lot of good players on the line. And, when people are talking about, oh, yeah, Dallas lost, I don't even want to remember his name, because the guy that went to Denver.
Gregory.
When they lost Gregory, people were like, oh, no. And I was like, oh, no, Dallas will figure it out. If there's anything Dallas is good at, it's the trenches. They're good at getting defensive people, defensive linemen, and they're good at getting offensive linemen. So I was not worried about that too much, and my lack of worry seems to have shown as they had people in reserves waiting. Let's talk about the next game.
Broncos, Jaguars. This is a London game.
Oh, the team I love and the team I really don't like. I picked Jags to win this game.
Yeah, I got Jags. Broncos. I'm not sure. Is Russell Wilson playing?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, wait. He said he's got that Wolverine blood, right? Or was that last week?
Well, either way, Broncos still has given us no reason to really put any faith in them. Jaguars.
Except their defense.
Yeah, except for their defense. The defense is playing well, but their offense hasn't shown us anything. So I'm going Jaguars there.
Yeah. The only way this game gets messed up is if Trevor Lawrence makes too many mental mistakes. Jaguars, their defense isn't as good as the Broncos, but it's still there. Solid. And I think without Robinson now, the ETN backfield is like we know it's ETN's team. ETN's backfield, I think that's going to help him play a little more loose too. Because he says he's still a good player. Jaguars.
Dolphins, Lions.
I mean, Dolphins.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could say the Lions with how they're playing right now.
Dolphins, easy one. Panthers, Falcons. This is tough. It's interesting.
I think so. If you're betting, I've been wrong on the Panthers almost every week in my football pool. So whatever I say, go the opposite. And I said the Panthers are going to win this game.
All right. Well, I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think Mariota, he's done some good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
discount Cooper Rush.
Well, but here's what I'm saying. Like, what I mean by that is, like, he hasn't been terrible. I mean, let me see. Let me look at his numbers.
I mean, it's hard to be good when you throw 10 passes in a game.
But, I mean, come on, man. Like, let's see. Marcus Mariota. I mean, I know the stats don't say it all, but...
Yeah, let's see what his stats say. I'll explain my point of view while you're pulling up Marcus Mariota's super stats. I believe their cornerback Terrell Davis isn't going to play. If you do want to check that too, I don't think Terrell Davis is going to play. I like PJ Walker. I think PJ Walker is actually a good quarterback, and I think they should stick with him for the rest of the year. DJ Moore is going to feast. I don't care what they say. DJ Moore is going to feast if AJ Terrell doesn't play. So my expectations right now is PJ Walker is going to give AJ Terrell the ball. He's going to give DJ Moore the ball because aside from AJ Terrell, they only have like one or two other good players on defense. And then the Panthers' defense is good. Like, they have a good defense. I don't see how the Falcons are going to score against that defense. This is the same defense that made Tom Brady's Bucs look even worse than they are. And I think the Falcons' offense is much worse than the Bucs' offense, even with the deficiencies.
He's not bad. I mean, if you want to call him a game manager or whatever it is you want to call him, like he's not bad. He's not, like, terrible. So he has over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 61% passing. Let's see. Let's look at rushing. Where's rushing? Why is it not here? But, he's going to give you what we expect, him to give you. Like, I mean, he's not terrible.
He's playing in Arthur Smith's offense, but the thing is, Arthur Smith knows how to win games. Yeah. So he's trying to win games to the best of it.
Regardless, he's not losing them games. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Like,
he's not losing games. He's not winning games.
He's not winning games. He's playing. He's game manager, like your boy Cooper Rush. But but I'm gonna go Falcons on that one. I'm probably not even gonna watch that one, but I'll go Falcons.
You're not gonna watch that offensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. Well, I'll be watching Cowboys, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
But after the Bears beating them by 20, then maybe I'll switch over that game.
All right, we got another tough one. Cardinals Vikings.
I pick Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I think it's Vikings' time to lose. I think they're worse than their record indicates, and I think this is the game. Cardinals have positive momentum coming from that Saints win, and D-Hop is changing that. At least from one game, D-Hop seems to be providing a much-needed spark.
Yeah.
So I am confident that the Cardinals will beat the Vikings. Cardinals defense is good.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings offense is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got stars on that offense. But Kyler Murray and D-Hop, I just think they're going to score more points. Simple as that.
It's a pick'em game. Like, I could pick Cardinals. I could pick Vikings on this one. It's this game can go either way. They're both Cardinals. You can say Vikings have a home field advantage. Yes, of course they do in terms of crowd concern, but I'm looking in terms of environment. Cardinals are used to playing regardless, playing in a dome is much easier, but than playing outside and whatnot. But I will go. Man, it's a tough one. I'll go with the Vikings on this one. I think overall they're a little bit better than the Cardinals. I like their Cardinals are missing Brown, right? Who's an intricate role in their offense, even though they got D-Hop.
I think Rondell Moore though,
Yeah, they still got some players, but it's a tough game. I'm gonna go with Vikings because I think they have the better overall team. Kirk Cousins, it's not a night game, it's a day game, and they got the best player that's probably on the field, Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen is very serviceable. Dalvin Cook is really, really good. I'm going Vikings. I think overall they're better.
My biggest thing, the reason why I picked, is the Cardinals' offense is slightly worse, maybe a little more than slightly worse than the Vikings' offense, but the Cardinals' defense is significantly better than the Vikings' defense. I think that was really where my head was going, and then you can barely run against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It's like the only person I see run against the Cardinals is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
But I think that dude's better than Dalvin Cook right now.
Yeah.
So it's like Kenneth Walker's special. So I just, Cardinals.
Okay. You got Raiders, Saints.
I picked the Raiders easy. Raiders are on the come up. This Raiders team's looking dangerous with Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. And the thing with Josh McDaniels is we all just needed to, take one of our Aaron Rodgers' book. Just relax. Josh McDaniels is trying to install the Patriot way with people who've never done the Patriot way. They're starting to get it now. They just needed a couple weeks. I am calling it now. They're going to be a wild card team in the playoffs.
No. Josh Jacobs is balling, and he's doing wonders for me in fantasy. So they're, like Cannon said, Josh McDaniels has eased his way into the offense, and now it's starting to pop.
Are they 2-5?
I think they're 3-4.
No way.
They're 2-5. They're 2-5.
I thought they only had one win.
I think you're right. 2-5. But
this team's scary.
And a lot of Derek Carr, he gets a lot of flack. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Oh, we gotta get rid of Derek Carr and this, that, and the other. But you guys gotta understand, how many changes has this man went through?
And he's thriving.
He's thriving, but he's went through coach after coach after coach. He's had 3 coaches in 2 years, right? I can't remember who was before Gruden, but it's like a revolving door in the head coaching staff. So you got to cut the guy some break in that regard because you got to, in order for you to really thrive as well as we know he can, you got to have more. You got to have consistency at the coaching position. But I got Raiders. I think they got one of the best receivers in the game. Waller's coming back, I believe.
Let's see if he can do anything. Though.
Yeah.
He has not been good.
But if anything, he can. We all know he's still dangerous regardless. He could be a decoy. Yeah. You can use him in so many different ways where it can make it tough for defenses to read what they're going to do. But yeah, I think their last game they balled out. Josh Jacobs balled out. I think they're going to continue with that momentum.
Yeah.
Steelers, Eagles.
Eagles. I mean, that doesn't seem like a question to me. I mean, sure, maybe the Steelers can win. Maybe it's the Eagles' time for the second half woes to continue, but Eagles are a better team on both sides of the ball. I'm going to have to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I obviously would go with Eagles right now. They're the better team, but Pittsburgh can make that interesting.
Just because it's Pittsburgh.
Just because it's Pittsburgh, they play that dirty, gritty football, smash mouth football, and they can make it tough on anybody, except for Buffalo apparently. But they can make that game interesting. I will go with Eagles, of course, because overall they have better talent. They have a better quarterback. Their quarterback situation is great.
And then I also feel like you can't. I don't think you can say a 7-0 team or a 6-0 team is going to lose to a 2-5 or a 2-4 team.
Hey man.
I mean,
do I have to say it again?
I know it's any given Sunday. I know, but if you're doing a pool with money, you're not going to pick the 6-0 team to lose to a 2-5 team.
You're not.
It's like they're the best team. Statistically, they're the best team in the NFL right now. I'd say they're the third best team.
Right.
But like, Steelers are middle bottom for me. So I'm Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. Patriots, Jets. I know you're going.
I went with the Patriots.
Oh, and then you teasing me.
No, I did. Here's the problem. Patriots defense is really good. I don't care what happened to the Bears.
Yeah.
Like, that was a very rare
It
was a freak game.
Yeah.
For sure it was a freak game. And the Patriots I would say they have a top 5 defense. And I have a feeling that losing Breece Hall really messed with them mentally and emotionally. That dude was one of the hearts of the team. You know, him and Zach Wilson are the heart and soul of that team. And Zach Wilson hasn't seen a defense like the Patriots defense. I think this is his time to struggle. Well, I mean, they saw the Broncos, but they were playing with their backup quarterback, and I don't know how many points they scored. It wasn't a lot. The Patriots are mostly healthy, and as long as that Mac Jones-Bailey Zappi thing is resolved, I think the Patriots are the better team at this moment.
Yeah, I think the biggest X factor here is Bill Belichick, and it's the fact that playing against the Jets, he's familiar with them, right? So, like we say all the time, in terms of football in the NFL, it's about scheme. That's most of it. That's extremely important, more than any other sport that I watch. So I think Bill Belichick, he has a really, really good He will have a really good strategy in order to, beat the Jets. It's going to be a tough game. But yeah, I'll go Patriots.
Yeah, and it pains me because I love the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to do well, and I was even telling Jackson over here that I was like, they're fringe playoff contenders, and he's like, no way.
No, that's not true.
No, you said they might win. You were like 7-8 wins.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think they could win 9 or 10.
Well, because I acknowledged they had, they had the best draft out of everybody.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that for sure.
I was like, this team could definitely make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it hurts me to say that. I actually hope I'm wrong because I would love for them to be 6-2.
Titans, Texans.
Titans.
Okay.
They're better.
Yeah, I'll go with Titans there.
Yeah, no, they're better. There's nothing to say.
Giants, Seahawks.
Seahawks. I'm going to say the Seahawks because Seahawks are even though they're 4-3, they're like the hottest team in the NFL right now. I mean, ever since I think they were 1-2 to start the season or 1-3 to start the season,
mm-hmm.
and they've just been winning, and they've been fun and exciting to watch. Kenneth Walker's getting better every week. I don't think the Giants have seen a beast like Kenneth Walker come in. And I think Geno's going to do good. Revenge game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't really buy into that too much.
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
I just, Giants have been getting really, not lucky. I'm not going to say lucky because they keep themselves in games, so that's skill. Like, if you keep yourself in a game you shouldn't win, that's not being lucky. That's being skilled. But I think the Seahawks team is dangerous, and I think this is the week that the Giants are going to get their first loss.
Second loss.
Second. Well,
but I should have kept that. But anyway, it's a very tough game. Very tough game. I'm gonna go with Giants. I'm gonna go with New York Giants. I think Seahawks has had some struggles on defense in the past, and I think Daniel Jones, being the athletic quarterback that he is, we're able to use the RPO with Saquon. I think that's going to be extremely effective against the Seahawks. I think even though Seahawks are rolling too, I think Giants. I'm scared. I'm scared to talk this high about them because I'm afraid they're going to break my heart.
You can say they're rolling too.
They're rolling. They got great momentum. It got a little too close for comfort last time because Saquon stepped out of bounds when he had no business stepping out of bounds at the end of the game. But it shouldn't have come down to that. But Seahawks is going to be a tough out. They're in Seattle. But I'm going to go with Giants. I think Dayball, he's making a believer out of me for sure. Not that I didn't believe him before. I just didn't. I know he worked with Josh Allen, but I didn't have a whole bunch of knowledge about him. But this team wants to play for him, and
yeah, he's a good coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach. And I just feel like the whole team as a whole has a great unit. And they have a great morale, and they're rolling right now. And I'm going to go with Giants. I'm going with Giants.
I mean, I don't blame you. It's definitely a pick-em to me. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we're seeing a 4-3 team is like a kind of more like a pick-em with like a 6-1 team is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I think it shows who the Seahawks are because let's think about it like this: is the Seahawks went through 3 games where Pete Carroll tried to manage Geno, and they looked awful. Mm. So it's like that was the first 3 games. They were 1-2, I think. Now they're 4-3.
4-3, yeah.
So they've been 3-1 since they've turned into an offensive team. They're letting Geno cook.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks team is better than their record. And the defense is doing better.
They're doing better, but saying in the past we've seen some holes. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say, but go ahead.
The good thing is I'm not saying good thing is I want them to beat the Giants. Yeah. Like, I honestly, if Giants win, they get more respect. Seahawks win, cool. I was right. But, like, either way, this Seahawks team is, in my opinion, probably more like a 5-2 team right now. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not gonna say 6-1. I'm gonna say they're a good 5-2 team, and their defense looks better. I mean, they held the Cardinals to a very low point total, and they controlled that game. And Kenneth Walker will keep them on the field, which will cover up the defense, just like what Zeke did for Dallas in the early years.
Well, you got to think, too. Like, don't I understand what you said about the Cardinals, but that goes back to what I was saying in division games. You kind of know each other, right? So, typically teams that who like defend you the best are teams that you play 2 times, out of the year. So, there's that as well. Yeah,
no, I get what you mean there, but like 9 points.
Yeah, I understand.
For the Cardinals, I'm like, no, it's. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. And is that one of the 1 o'clock games, or is that 10 o'clock?
That is 1:25. Yep.
That might be a game I have to watch because
for sure.
I want to see how these players do because I think the Giants' defense is not too bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a fun game. Probably low scoring unless if Seattle blows the doors off of them because I don't see the Giants blowing the doors off of Seattle.
No, we don't blow people off. We keep it close.
And that's the reason I'm picking the Seahawks is because it's either going to be a close game that the Giants could win or it's going to be a blowout that Seattle for sure wins.
So, Commanders, Colts.
Commanders. Matt Ryan's not playing. They benched him. They benched the man who is not doing a lot wrong. It is not Matt Ryan's fault that team is doing what they're doing. Matt Ryan is still good. Like 16, 17 best quarterback in the NFL good. Better than what whatever the other dude's name is going to be. And the thing about Matt Ryan that really gets my respect is that he's getting crushed, but he's still holding in and throwing lasers down the field. Trying. And he doesn't have happy feet like Brady and Rodgers. And I'd say he's more frail than probably Rodgers. Matt Ryan's got some, he's got something to him that makes him unafraid, which is very impressive. I'm not saying he's as good as Brady or as Rodgers, but the man's old, and he's staying in the pocket better than both of them currently. So it's a bummer he's not playing because I like Matt Ryan. He's one of those above average relevant quarterbacks that's been a long time, and I would have liked to have seen him win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the fact he's getting benched for somebody who's going to do worse than him doesn't sit well with me, and that's why I'm picking the Commanders to win because I just can't trust it.
Well, I mean, I
just can't trust it.
I hear what you're saying. Sometimes you just need a spark. Kind of like what you said. He's old. No offense to him. I like Matt Ryan. But sometimes you need some type of spark. That's why you might have to take that chance and and bench him. But with that being said, I'll go with Commanders because I like Heineke.
Is he playing?
Is he playing?
I'm assuming he is. Carson Wentz broke a bone.
Yeah. Okay. I figured Heineke was playing. So I like Heineke. I think he's that guy that brings a spark to the team.
Second half spark.
Regardless, they won. People weren't. People thought Green Bay was going to win that game. Regardless, Green Bay doing not doing too well. I picked Green Bay to win, but I saw the Commanders making that interesting because Heineke, he's just one of those guys that can just bring a spark to the team. And he's tough, and he's just like a crowd favorite. He's just he's just one of those guys that just does that to your team. And Commanders. I'll go with Commanders.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Heineke. I think the Packers screwed themselves out of that win. Aaron Rodgers threw 36 yards in the first half. If they would have been more dominant and stepped on their throats, then the Commanders would have had no business being in that game. The thing that I think Heineke does better than Carson Wentz is actually throw the ball to their best wide receiver. I'm sorry, but how you not throwing it to Terry McLaurin? He's your best wide receiver. And he's been the secondary option. It's I get Curtis Samuel's good, but McLaurin is a borderline top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, and first of all, don't make it seem like I'm saying high. I know
what you're saying is you want Heineke to be on the Giants. That's going to be what's pushing your team to the Super Bowl. It's going to be Heineke, 2023 Giants Super Bowl win.
All right, he called it. He called it.
Hey, if I call that, you owe me money. Internet.
That would be insane. 49ers, Rams.
Niners? How could you say the Rams? I can't say the Rams. Who have they beaten? Oh, they beat the Panthers. People are going to be like, well, the Panthers beat the Bucs. Yeah, but we're talking about Matt Rule Panthers. We're not talking about Steve Wilkes Panthers.
Yeah.
Steve Wilkes Panthers are undefeated. No, wait. No, technically they're 1-1, but give Steve Wilkes more than a week.
Yeah.
No, but the Rams are just as disappointing as the Packers.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And the Bucs.
Super Bowl hangover.
Stafford's on free agency in our league. I never thought I'd see that.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And I picked up Justin Fields instead of Stafford. That shows the state of their offense. I don't see how you can pick the Rams, especially with CMC.
Yeah, 49ers, they've won outside of the NFC Championship game, they've beaten the Rams 5, 6, 7 straight or something like that. If my memory serves me correct. So it sounds like they got their number.
Yeah, because I feel like Shanahan is better than McVay.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. We were talking about Matt Ryan. He made Matt Ryan an MVP. I'm going to go 49ers. Obviously, this is an interesting game because it's an in division. And Jimmy Garoppolo, even though I do feel like he can get criticized a little bit too much, I do understand that, he does have his flaws in terms of...
I think it's fair.
He tends to... Yeah, he does make it more interesting than it needs to be, and tries to give games away for sure. But the reason why I say I think it's a little bit too much, because at the end of the day, they win. You know, even though he might make it interesting for the other team in grabbing the win, at the end of the day, he's been to an NFC Championship. He's been to a Super Bowl. Regardless. So that's at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's what it is. So but I'm gonna go with 49ers, even though they have some injuries. But the Rams just
they're coming back.
I
know Debo's gone.
Yeah, Debo's gone. Yeah, that's right. Debo's gone. So they lost Debo. That makes that tough. But I just think
they still have CMC. They got Kittle. No,
they got Ayuk.
They got Ayuk.
Yeah, they got Ayuk. So they still got some ballers on that team. I think overall, they're better. They're better than the Rams, for sure.
Yeah, there's too many options.
Mm-hmm. The Rams just got a Super Bowl hangover. I don't know.
I do. They lost too many good players and they didn't replace them. It's like they're really lucky they won their Super Bowl. I'm not saying because they didn't deserve it, but if they didn't win it this year, then Matthew Stafford would be looked at as. And I don't think this is true because I think Stafford is really good, but he'd be looked at as a bum if they didn't win that Super Bowl because of how he's playing right now. But it's not his fault. I mean, he does not have the offensive line to support a good team.
For sure.
All right.
Packers, Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, I don't think this is really tough. Bills. I see Bills blowing them out, actually.
Oh, 41-17.
41-17. I'm going to go...
Diggs 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to go 37-20.
Ooh, that's a lot of credit.
I'm going to give Packers 20. They might get like a garbage touchdown in there.
But here's the problem, though, is the Bills' defense is like, it's good.
No, it's good.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to do anything against that defense. I mean, the Commanders' defense isn't even that good.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even, it took till like the fourth quarter for them to do anything.
Yeah. What 3 points? What did you say, 41-17? Come on. You can't give me one more field goal? Come on, dude.
No, I can't. Because I'm being generous giving them 17. I wanted to say 10 or 9.
Yeah.
3 field goals.
I don't think there's much to say on that. Packers just...
Yeah, just get your prop bets ready for Bills players exploding. I mean, Diggs and Gabe Davis, 2 touchdowns each. I don't know.
It shouldn't...
They got ballers. The only losers are them for not getting McCaffrey.
Yeah, for sure. Bengals, Browns.
You know what sucks? I didn't realize Jamar Chase was out, and I made my damn picks, and I picked the Bengals to win. Okay. But they still have Higgins, and they still have Boyd. Even without Jamar Chase, the best wide receiver in football, I still think they're going to win. They got the better quarterback by a wide margin. They have better wide receivers. Who's the Browns' best wide receiver? Amari Cooper or Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Cooper.
Cooper and Boyd are equal to me. Equal in my eyes. At least equal. I think Boyd might be better. At least he can do better.
I like Cooper, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just like Boyd because he has more athletic prowess than Cooper at this point. Cooper does make those catches look so pretty, though.
Yeah.
But it's his throwing it to you, too. Joe Burrow, who I think is 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Best quarterback in the NFL.
Okay.
He can do more. Maybe Mixon can get involved now because the Browns' defense doesn't look like it should either. I just think the Bengals are a better team, and they're finally figuring it out. Like, what I've been talking about is they've been too lackluster on the offensive creativity. They're doing a little better. Not totally better, but I think it's enough to beat the Browns, who are reeling right now. Like, they should have won like 3 games that they didn't win, and the Bengals are the better team.
Yeah.
But Watson comes back.
These in-division games are always really, really tough, despite what the situation is on either side. I will go with the Bengals, but I can see the Cleveland Browns winning this game. You know, they have one of the best running backs in the game. They haven't been using Kareem Hunt. What am I talking about? Kareem Hunt. I got Cooper Rush.
You got Cooper Rush on it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm beating that
Cooper
in my
Clutch.
head. But anyway, Kareem Hunt. They have been underutilizing him for the past couple weeks, I think. But, you know, if they get that tandem on track, this is a team that can control the ball, control the clock, keep the Bengals offense on the bench, and they can pull out a win for sure. They still got ballers on defense. They got Myles Garrett. Why is his name leaving me? The cornerback.
Denzel Ward.
Yeah, Denzel Ward.
I will say, though, as I was looking at some advanced statistics of Denzel Ward, he's actually like a bottom cornerback right now.
Yeah, but
it's really crazy.
But he can make some. The thing is, he's dangerous. You know, he's out there. You know, he's not a guy you can just overlook, right?
Yeah.
They have some talent on that team, and Brissett, he can get a win for you. If you ask me, if he can get a divisional win against the Bengals, I think he can do it. He's experienced. He can make the right throws. I mean, he's not that guy where you can say, you know, go win me.
He hasn't been bad.
He hasn't been bad.
No.
He hasn't been bad. You know, like we were just bringing up Amari Cooper. We're bringing him up. I mean, he's a baller on the outside. I think they're about just as talented as Cincinnati. Pretty much. They're pretty close, if not far. They're pretty close. So
Higgins is better than all their wide receiver core, and Boyd is at least equal.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm just saying, just from an overall standpoint, including defense, they have a lot of talent on there, a lot of really, really good players. So I can very well see them winning this game. Very well.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I do think the Bengals defense is significantly better than the Browns. Like Bengals defense is what was keeping them in games in the beginning of the season. If they get that offense figured out, which sucks that Jamar Chase is out. Like they turned that corner. I was like, okay, now it's time for the big play Bengals to come back. And they decided, and then Jamar Chase gets hurt. So it's like they took a little step back. You know, they took 2 steps forward and 6 steps back.
Yeah.
But I still think they're a better team, so I think they're going to win.
All right, for sure. Those are it.
Those are all the games?
Yep, that's mine in that game.
I don't know. These primetime games seem to not be very good. The good news is it seems like the Broncos don't have too many primetime games left. Thank God.
Well, they have the London game. I mean, it's not primetime, but it's like the standalone game.
Well, here's what I associate London with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We send our worst out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even though these last 2 games, sorry to cut you off, these last 2 games have been great in London.
No, what's nice is they seem to be... other teams seem to want to go to London. I know the Jaguars kept going to London because they offered. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we'll take one of our home games because I think they wanted to build a fan base out there. Yep. But, no, London isn't as bad as it used to be. I'm just making jokes about that.
No.
Because, they used to be the crap bowl. Like the toilet bowl. Like Jacksonville and Giants. Yeah. Or Jacksonville and Saints or something. I know Saints weren't crappy, but it was like the Jaguars were.
Yeah.
All right, so we're already running off of like 56 minutes. So we're going to talk about 2 more things right now before we wrap up this episode. Is we want to... Actually, we talked about Jamar Chase already. I'd want to talk about Zeke. Zeke is doubtful for the game, and they're playing the Bears. Do you think that Zeke not being out there is going to make a huge difference for this Dallas team?
Not when they got Tony Pollard out there balling the way that he's balling. No, I think...
maybe this will unlock Pollard, and they'll realize, hey, we don't need to rush Zeke 15 times. Let's give that to Pollard.
Hey, I'm considering having him in my fantasy... he's a lock starter. I don't know why I'm saying consider, but he's a lock starter.
You got it.
You have to start him. You have to start him. He's more explosive than Zeke. I don't think it's a huge hit. Was it?
I think it's a minor hit.
Yeah, it's not a big a hit. I think Dallas, obviously, if we're looking at this game this week, whether they have Zeke or not, they definitely can win this game. Probably will win this game. They still have that dominant defense. They'll be fine without him.
Zeke has one advantage over Pollard is I trust Zeke at the 1 yard line more than Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very situational. Is how often do you get to the 1 yard line?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say I feel like this is a game where Dak starts throwing it a little more. I'm still hoping that they're going to maintain because I think the best way for Dallas to win is to play through defense and running and give Dak a couple plays. So that's what I want to do is I want Dak to throw a little more and I want him to get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Whether this game is close or not, I know what I see is Dallas is that tier 2 team. I just need to trust that they're gonna do good. It's just as a Cowboys fan and as a Giants fan in recent, it's like you feel like something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
So
there's always that in the back of your head.
So overall, I think it's gonna be a minor hit, but I still think they'll win the game, obviously, because I picked them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we want to thank you for joining us for our football predictions, talking about Tampa Bay, talking about injury statuses, and tune in for our basketball podcast. That's going to come up same day. Mm-hmm. And you guys have a good day.
All right.
See ya.
Take care.